Welcome to MotoGP Mac, where MotoGP fans congregate and fanboys fear to tread. What are you doing today?
Oh my God. Fair play to you. You did nothing for the whole week, only practice that, didn't you? Yeah.
Yep.
In the mirror,
Yes.
doing it. Good man yourself. Well,
Smooth
what a
as
race,
butter.
huh?
Smooth as butter. And we have a new, another Ducati World Superbike champion.
I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
So don't worry, folks. They'll have we have to have the Japanese win next year rules by the time it rolls around, by the time they start.
I think Bautista's testing the extra 7 kilos on Tuesday.
If that's not enough, it'll be 14. If that's not enough, it'll be 21.
Anyway, yeah.
If it gets bad enough, they're going to chain his ass to this pat in the pit.
Yeah. Well, look, Joe, it was an interesting battle for second in the championship. But anyway, today's race, man, what a fucking epic race. Loved it.
Yes. And by the way, did you notice? I'm going to rub this one in. Lots of passing. And it goes to show, but if you notice, the European bikes were passing the European bikes. The Japanese bikes should only pass the Japanese bikes. That's where you have the passing in this. What the arrows.
No, you'll be wrong there, because Quadraro did pass some European bikes. To be fair,
no, we don't have to take. Doesn't make it wrong because so the best rider in the world passed a guy.
yeah. Well, no, look, like I thought there wasn't a lot of passing. I'll be honest, Jake. I think there was a lot of.
Have to open
I won't call it passing it like it. Even Crafar said it. This circuit is very, very hard to pass them properly. Right, the only way you could do it was by taking different lines, and you could see it. Like someone was trying to pass like a number of times. I think through. Can't think of the number. I think it's turn 4 or turn 5. And they were going different lines to dive inside, but as soon as you just held your line you held your racing line, you went back underneath them on the exit of the corner. So I won't call that passing. That's trying to fucking stop the bike in the middle of the corner and failing. Do you know what I mean? But it was epic. You knew there was something going to happen towards the end of the race. Do you know what I mean? You could feel that from the middle of the race, but the pace was so slow, like it was compared to yesterday. It's like, I know yesterday was a sprint race, but like the first thing that I found very interesting was every single rider rolling out to the starting grid. So they left the garage, they went out at a fucking scooter's pace. Like they were going so slow not to use petrol because of those 2 massive acceleration zones. They were it was kind of like a fuel sensitive circuit, and then obviously during the race it was a tire sensitive circuit. Like I think they were over a second a lap slower than they were in the pace yesterday, or 7/10 or something.
Yeah, I think it was 7/10 or something, but it's still ridiculous. They should. I never believed in, and I'll never will believe in saving fuel. You're not saving the earth, tree huggers, because you don't have a racing. You're stopping racing from using fuel, for God's sake.
No, it's it wasn't that. But it was
trying to go to get this. They're trying to go to electric lawnmowers to save the earth.
I don't know. Well, it'll be. But no, it wasn't saving fuel to save fuel. It was saving because they were limited on the tank size, obviously. So the amount of liters that they had was. Because of the acceleration zones, it was drinking fuel. So there was a kind of a scare there that some bikes could technically run out of fuel.
Yeah.
But no, I thought Martin, I think he was really, really good, especially when Binder passed him. I thought, okay, this is either the moment he's either going to fucking jump and make a mistake, or he's going to drop back. And he looked like he was dropping back and that he didn't have the pace. But as soon as Binder went past him, Binder didn't have anything left to give.
Yeah.
Now,
that was the first time you saw that Martin was thinking. He was not just a knockout artist. He was going to, speed demon.
I think he was given. I think no. I don't know whether I was thinking, but I think he was given a what they would call a delta time. Do you know what I mean? And this is your delta time to make your tires last. That's genuinely what I think. And it was like how and now look, there's normally a plus or minus on things like. So funny that you talk about electrics, right? But in an electric car, just say kilometers an hour, for instance. If you drive on the motorway or the freeway, as you call it, at 120 kilometers an hour, you'll lose about 20% of range compared to if you drive on the same road at like 106 kilometers an hour. Do you know what I mean? So,
right.
Like that would be a delta speed. And they'd have a delta lap time then as well, so that they would try and go plus or minus a couple of percent of that. And that's how you set your race pace, and they can then calculate the fuel used based off of that lap time. Do you know what I mean? And times. Right. But no, look, I just thought it was really like he did use his head. Don't get me wrong. Like he didn't panic when Binder went through. I think it would have been slightly different if had Pecco gone through. Do you know what I mean? I think it would have been red rag to a bull. Like, do you know what I mean? I think he would have lost his fucking shit. Like, do you know what I mean? Pecco, I don't know. Fuck it. Like, he was a fucking disaster yesterday.
I know. Oh my god.
Fuck it. Jesus. I was like. It was for the first time I questioned, does he want to win the championship?
Yeah. Yeah. Is he gonna try to, or is he gonna try to back in like Mir? He's done to a back in deal, you know?
Oh, is it like
I still wonder if he's doing a back in deal a bit, I'll be honest with you.
No, I just didn't see the aggression there. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I mean. He's gonna like rest on his laurels on the amount of points he has.
No, it was just like, look, I suppose if we look at it right, we criticize him when he goes for it, and then we criticize him when he doesn't go for it. Like last year in Japan, he tried to throw it up the inside. We were like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Do you know what I mean? And this year he's sitting behind. Okay, it is damage limitation. His pace wasn't overly bad. It's just that he's not. The aggression is not there at the very start. Like he did a great start. He was in 4th place, and then he fucking tailed back to 7th again. Do you know what I mean? And you're like, "Where'd you fucking go on?"
Well, he got hit, and usually he backs off if somebody starts to rough him up. If he gets hit or bouncing around a little bit, he usually backs off. He's always done that.
Yeah. Look, I don't know. I just think it's.
And this time he didn't. I was surprised that once he got bashed up a bit and backed out, and then he came forward again. He started dishing it out himself a little bit.
He did, yeah. Like he was very funny with Marquez. Do you know what I mean? I had a vision, all right, going through when they were going through turn 3 or turn 4, and Marquez was on the inside. It's like, your man's gonna lose fucking front.
Did you too? I was like, oh, shit, that's Marquez. He's done.
I was just like, oh Jesus, and then Alex Marquez a couple of laps later lost the fucking front. It was just like, thanks be to God, you know, because like you'd hate to see the championship decided by. Like I don't mind if the two boys crash into each other and one stays up and one doesn't. But if someone who's not involved in the championship,
exactly,
I'd fucking hate it. But I think he was pretty good today. Look, he looked into 2nd place. Do you know what I mean? 13 points now in the championship. It will be interesting though to see what happens in Malaysia. Don't forget, actually, Bautista is actually doing a race. What should we call it? Bautista is actually racing in Malaysia in MotoGP. He's doing a wild card. Bautista. Alvaro Bautista.
Yeah.
Yes, he's doing.
What happened to Anea at this race? I don't even say you said something. It just popped into my head. What happened to Anea? I didn't see him at all.
Yeah, we'll go through him in a bit, but we'll talk about Binder there first. Did you see how strong that KTM is? Right on the edge of the tire.
Yes. I'm wondering if somebody. I would not be surprised if next year KTM turns around and goes, you know, You remember the carbon fiber chassis that no one could figure out, that everybody tried and failed? Guess what? We figured it out and just stomped.
But Jake, you're going no, and I will be stern on. They're using carbon rails. They're not using a Delta or a carbon box. So they're not.
No, I know. I understand that. I understand it. It's not the same.
It's not apples and apples. No.
Yeah.
Like their weak point at the moment is not the engine is good.
Mm-hmm.
The edge grip is fucking phenomenal. The problem is the center carcass of the tire. So when they stand the bike up and try to drive it out of the corners like a V4,
yeah,
they have that problem. The rear just spins.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? And that is just like a little bit more of an engineering problem that they need to fix, is how do they get that rear grip?
Yeah.
Now, that would probably create more problems, because when they get the rear grip from the tire, it'll probably push in the front more, So it is a double-edged sword, but I think I
don't see it having any more. I don't see it having any more grip than the Ducatis.
Geez, I think it was about the same today.
Yeah, roughly about the same. Yeah.
But that's with the problem. So if they fix the problem of rear grip, they fucking launch like.
Yeah.
Now, I thought Brad rode a really great, sensible race. You could see how hard he had to ride to get past Marini, who was fucking a demon on the brakes. And then he didn't let Martin off the hook at all. He kept him honest all day, which, I was kind of worried. About, that is he going to push Martin too much and then Martin crashes? You know what I mean? But again, the pace was so slow. I was kind of relaxed off that.
Yeah, everyone seemed to be on eggshells. That
Yeah. Everyone.
Good.
What?
I would. Mine's totally unrelated. So you'd say, keep going. I'll tell you afterwards.
No, but I just thought, it was a mature race from the top three, and then of course, Binder is the unluckiest fucker in the planet. Like, do you know what I mean? Touching the green again.
Oh my God! Yes.
And you're just like.
There has to be a different rule than that. Come on, they got to figure something else out. Like give it a.
I think it should count on every lap except the fucking last one when they're fucking hammering times.
They would give them a long lap the next race or something. I mean, it's just
no, fucking. Why are you giving a long lap for? Like why are you even pay? Like, okay, if you go 5 miles off the fucking thing, and
I'm saying anything's better than what they have.
But like if you're in the wheel tracks of a fucking bike ahead of you, right, and you're trying to make a fucking pass, right, for the race win, right? Unless you go way outside the curbs and fucking I don't know, do you know what I mean? Gain an advantage. Like he's not gaining an advantage. He can't fucking see where he's going.
Yeah, I know.
The bike in front of him might fucking jink and fuck you, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And you touch it, it drives me fucking demented, and I have a bee in my bonnet over the last lap, fighting for a fucking race win and worried about touching green fucking
paint that you can't see, right?
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is, did you see when Marquez and Fabio were battling it out?
Mm.
I thought, I'm sitting there going, well, it took us 3 years. We finally got the two of them, passing each other.
It was a return to 2019, except it wasn't for the win.
I wonder if Marquez turns to Fabio and goes, yeah, wait till next year. You know what I mean?
You won't fucking see me next year.
Yeah.
I'll send you pictures.
I'll send you pictures. Oh my God.
Yeah. No, and Elisha Spagro, he actually got done. He was the first person to lose 3 spots for tire penalty or tire pressure penalty. So he finished in 8th place rather than 5th place or whatever it was. So he had a good fucking battle with Marc Marquez. Actually, there's probably not 2 other fucking hotheads that you on track that you love to put together in a boxing ring and have fucking go off each other. Like, do you know what I mean? Marquez touched him, and you knew straight away. You knew like LH was just going to fucking horseback at him the next corner, and he did. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's kind of concerning what's happening with the Aprilia team.
What is going on with them? Did they have a thing? Good handling, like a knob, good handling, bad handling. It's like you'll see them in the infield and they're whipping through, passing better than anybody, and then they'll come around 3 laps later, and then the thing seems like it's off all over the place.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
Like, well, it does really. You know, like they're very fast in practice, very, very fast in practice when there's no one around them.
Right, but I understand that.
It's a Yamaha problem that they have. Like, so I mean, their bike is epic through corners, as long as it can run the line it wants to run. But if they can't, and they don't have the horsepower, then.
But it seems like they have the horsepower. They ran a hell of a top speed today.
Yeah, but horsepower doesn't equal top speed. Do you know what I mean?
True. I mean, you know,
so what I mean?
It's not the acceleration. Yeah, right.
True, and it's just they're taking the wider lines. They're trying to turn it on, but if there's someone in the middle of their line that's legitimately in front of them in a race, they can't run that line. Therefore, they're backing off the gas or whatever it is, and so they're fucked then coming out of the corners because they can't carry the speed. Very similar to Yamaha. Very, very similar to Yamaha, except I do believe that the Aprilia's handling is better than the Yamaha's.
Yeah.
And obviously the bike is much, much more advanced. You know, the Yamaha's kind of like Flintstone. So,
they seem to have niggling problems with their electronics again, too. They don't. The things aren't blowing up or anything. They're just having things where they just shut down, like
safety.
What happened? No spark. That type of thing.
Yeah. Well, look, they are pushing on the edge of it, but yeah, I don't know what's happened. Like, it's
stuff like that. You don't see at that level.
But it is a very funny situation because what you're seeing, I suppose, as well is. Like, it's not just affecting the main Aprilia team, the factory team. Like, RNF have fucking arse has fallen out of that. Do you know what I mean? Oliveira has been, and don't get me wrong, Oliveira's a fucking great rider, but he's fucking tailing Charlie the last 2 weekends. Like, do you know what I mean? Hello, bye.
Yeah.
And Raul, well, look, Raul did okay today. I'll be honest, he did okay, but still don't.
Yeah, not for what he promised.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I just think, Aprilia, there's something going on internally. I think there's someone upset someone, or I don't know, but they're not in sync. The bike is not performing. It's in a very weird place where it hasn't made any progression from last year at all. It's probably actually gone a little bit backwards. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, Oliveira did
problems like the niggling electrical problems. You need to say why. You know what I mean? This is junior high school, problems. If you get the scenario.
Yeah. But look, I still believe they're missing their true alien. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think put an alien on that, you get another 3 or 4 tenths of a second out of it. It does look like that Oliveira is out of the race to go to Honda. Does look like he won't be leaving RNF next season. So
I think they're going to call up Freddie Spencer or Mick Doohan is next. Yeah. Who else are going to have left?
Mark Marquez's second cousin.
Yeah, once removed.
Yeah. No, I reckon it's going to be DG. We'll get it. I think he's in the hot seat for it. Lacona wasn't fast enough. They can't get Miguel. They couldn't get Maverick. And then everyone else has a bike that they want. So what the fuck would you get off that and go to Honda?
Yeah. They signed what the hell is McKenna, McKelney, whatever his name. He signed him for Honda, I thought he would do pretty good because the Honda, the CBR 1000 RRR is such a pig. You're going from one pig to the other, and so if you can stay on one pig, you know what I mean. Sometimes it helps them. You know, if you're handling bike, you used to be on.
Yeah, but I just think he was too far off the pace, to be honest.
But I didn't realize he was that far off the pace. You know.
Yeah. Look, he was a second and a half. Like, I don't think Digi to be a second and a half off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't actually think there was a major difference between Lecona and Bradle pace wise.
Yeah. And by the way, that CBR 1000 RRR going to the World Superbike, you know, they give them that big break where they're allowed to change the frame, and it's still a mess. How do you get somebody that much of a break and it doesn't work? You know,
apparently they're opening it up to everyone now that you can change bits and pieces. I don't know.
Oh, that's going to kill them if that happens. That's Jesus. Yeah. How are they going to catch up if that happens? You know, I'm hearing that the Riders Union, the first thing they want is more testing time. But
it's not going to fucking happen, man. It's not going to happen.
Well, that's what I was listening to Crafar. That's why I can tell you where I saw that. It was in
but one second. So let's just sit down here. I would like I'd like 100 million. You know, I would like 7 Ferraris, one for each day. I'd take, you know, every other race winning Ducati, Honda, Aprilia, Suzuki. So many things I'd like. None of it's going to fucking happen. None of it. Like it's like the riders are coming out and saying, "Oh, we'd like to have more testing time," right? That's because they already fucking know that there's a whole concessions thing that is coming for next year, which will equate to more testing time. It's just like, you know what I mean? It's like stupidity. Like the other day, I was reading again, fucking like all over fucking YouTube and the press, and it's like Marc Marquez has.
Oh, it's good.
The 2020 he's going to be riding the 2023 thing, and we're like, no,
yeah. Or he's did you see the one he's going to be riding the 2024? Right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It was still unknown at the time of signing Marc's contract. What sort of version of the Ducati would he ride? Would he get a 2024? And it was like, yeah, okay. You put out an article when Grassini re-signed, and they were re-signing for two GP23s.
I love the one that said he's actually going to re-sign with Honda, and every week he's going to go back during the year. And he's gonna respond to Honda and give him back like a spy. You know, I was like, you got to folks. You know.
No, this now, to be fair, this did come out in Crash actually as well, and it says informed voices speak of a secret pact between Honda and Marc Marquez that could mean that they link back up after 1 year of Ducati factory team.
Yeah,
and you're like, really?
Yeah.
He can go wherever the fuck he wants to in 2025. We all know that he has a 1 year deal.
Right.
If the Honda turns around all of a sudden, magically, right?
Yeah.
And starts winning races next season, right?
Yes.
Of course he'd go fucking back there.
He could.
Of course he could.
Actually, he already said to Honda, they said, this is what I read, he said, well, I can go back to you after a year. They said, no, don't.
Their whole thing it has been a very challenging couple of weeks for news in MotoGP. So look, they're gripping onto
anything
silly things that will, of course, Marc Marquez could go back there next year. There's no fucking secret pact. There's no fucking this, that, and the other. Now, what they're saying is that if Marc resigns for the 2024 season, you know, then or for the 2025 season, you know, the money that he had to forfeit would be, you know what I mean? But listen, at the end of the day, look, if Marc goes back there, Marc goes back there.
Yeah.
If Marc, you know, it's just fucking really annoying when you're reading stupid articles, trying to actually figure out and like.
And all the bad mouthing, all the fanboys that wanted him to stay and wanted him to re-sign for Honda, and now they're all like, he can't ride. Now they're going to do better than they ever did before. It'll be fine by 2024 opening season.
But look,
you don't know how to set up a bike. That's the whole problem. It's like, it's not
but look,
there's 100 of them. Huh?
That's just normal human behavior. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking girl dumps in like, yeah, well, I didn't fucking like you anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, you were fine. You do.
Yeah.
I was settling.
Yeah. You're doable. What else are you gonna do for the hour?
Yeah, you do for the hour. Marini on the fucking brakes, man. I think Pecco needs to start looking at his data for the brakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just fucking unreal, like unbelievable.
Well, what happened to Pecco? Like, he needs to start I don't know where the hell his qualifying. His qualifying went down the shitter.
They did, yeah. And like he's turned around and said, well, look, the reason why that happens is because I'm more focused on my race setup than
well, you better be somewhat focused on your qualifying time, so you're not sitting there trying to pull yourself back from 8th or 9th, you know.
Yeah, but like yes and no, right? Like Australia and what was the one before that? Indonesia. And like he was definitely trying to figure out the setting for his tire to look at his race pace, and they more or less really paid off for him. But again, he's making, like, you're right, he's making life difficult for himself. Here he wasn't that far off. I think he was like 2/10 of a second off, and he qualified second. Do you know what I mean? Right. It was kind of what I would call a Valencia circuit, where a half a second in Valencia is like a second in a normal lap. Like, do you know what I mean? So,
so you have that one-line track. You have a one-line track, and you got to get. If you have that one-line track, and you got to get through people, is the problem. You know. That's
it. And look, this is kind of what this circuit was, and like you really have to risk the pass, and that's why I was kind of questioning earlier on. I was saying, like, does he actually want to win this? Like, because like he had to throw it up the inside of Bezzecchi yesterday, and he didn't. Do you know what I mean? And today, he should have gone again. Like, you know what I mean? Now, look, it's very easy for me to say sitting here, no championship on the line, and I'm not going to hurt myself when I hit the ground. But I think, yeah, I'm very worried that there's no sign of aggression from him. Like, we're in the pressure cooker zone now. We have 3 races left. You know, by the end of November, we're going to know. Do you know what I mean? So we have 3 races left in the next 4 weeks. And yeah, I just not seeing.
Except for he went on the outside of everybody in that one corner, that right-hand corner. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think he outbraked himself, to be honest.
Joe, yeah.
Like, oh, look at this. I think I was like, oh, it's interesting. You know what I mean?
I think he went, oh shit, what am I doing? Yeah.
But actually, talking about him on the brakes, it was very interesting that he wasn't running the 355mm high density or high mass brakes.
Good pickup on that. I didn't see that.
Yeah, he was on the 2, or he was on the 3 or 340. But they weren't the high mass brakes either. And I spent a good bit of time yesterday looking at Bastianini, who was on the high mass disc, so I was able to see the difference in the brake discs. And just if people don't know, you know, the center part of the disc where it goes onto the rotor, or the disc rotor, that's actually nearly solid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a high mass, whereas the other one is kind of like, I'd call it vented. Do you know what I mean? There's splines in it, and look, I just thought it was interesting that he wasn't going out. So, and you know, it takes a little bit of understanding that, like, is it that they were just too powerful for him? I don't know. But of course, it was definitely going to affect him in the braking zones.
And I missed this again. I missed what happened to Anaya Bastianini.
By Bastianini, I don't know. He qualified last. Yeah, he qualified last. He didn't have a good go of it. But then saying that, like, he qualified last, right? Like, if we looked at it, the top 15 were covered by a fucking second.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
It's normal these days. You know what I mean? Like, what happened to him? It just seems like is that shoulder blade that bad of an injury? Maybe it is.
I think, personally, myself, I think where he's struggling is he is struggling with the bike. The bike is a lot different than the bike he had last year, and he just every time that he starts to get a bit of confidence on it, he fucking takes himself out, or someone takes him fucking out, and he injures himself. You know, and that's the long and the short of it. Like, he has 3 races left. Like, even if Martin does finish second, just say, right, he does finish second, would have a hard time fucking with him in the Pramac team, or justifying him being in the Pramac team. Do you know?
Yeah.
Now, saying that, the other side of the coin, if he is not up to the pace of Pecco, say for the 2024 season, this is another thing. Is it best to keep the 2 alpha males fucking separated? Like Pecco and Martin in the one team battling each other? Is it
now? Because Mark, you know why? You got to keep the guy happy. Martin wants that. He's like a kid, and he wants to be on that factory team. He's dreamed about it. He wants that poster on the wall.
Oh, he does. 100%. But then, look, the other side of the coin, and this is one of the things, right? I will always tip my hat to Ducati. If you look at Martin's bike and Pecco's bike, they're identical.
Yeah.
You know, they changed the downward ducts. He has the start system. You know, it's really...
They have the same amount of engineers, by the way.
Yeah, but like, it is a factory team.
Yeah.
The satellite. Yeah. But they're giving them the same tools to go and fight, which I have to commend. I think is fucking brilliant. Do you know what I mean? And for me, kind of gets rid of all this shit of, Ducati are going to be putting in the team orders. You know,
that's a bunch of shit. That's just crap. Yeah,
it's just crap. And you know, I always go back to this thing at Ducati Cups and all of this. It's not their fault. They're fast riders on the fast bike.
Yeah.
And it happens to be Ducati.
And just because you have a Japanese bike in your garage doesn't make them any faster. All right. Sorry, folks. Build better bikes. All right. I have both. How about that? So biased. I have both Japanese and European ones, and I can tell you the European ones are better. All right. That's the way it is. It's been 15 years.
No, look, I'm just thinking it's just, you know, they. Like, there is no doubt that Marc Marquez and Fabio are on pigs, right? And they are the fastest riders in the world, right?
Yes.
But when you're looking at where things are in the championship, you know, Ducati, my view, have been thereabouts for a few years now. You know, they lost it in the close one in 21. They won in 22, and they're dominating in 23. Do you know what I mean? And is it because they have a lot of data? Probably. That it can't hurt the data.
It can't hurt, right? It's not that, but it's not the if Yamaha had taken the bikes instead of, or also, it wouldn't have been the cure-all. I tell you that right off the bat. They wouldn't be if Honda had had more bikes on it. It wouldn't be the cure-all. They'd still be a pig, maybe just a little less pig, right? Because like you said, that 8, you can only use 4. You can only use a bike that's the same as yours. You know, they're common.
Well, yes and no. Look, you can get an idea, like, for example, of tire wear, what tires to run, strategies.
Significant things for stuff for problems.
But what the main thing is that every Ducati rider can see each other's data.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an open book, right? Where we all know that Honda, for example, all 4 bikes are different. They have different strategies, different things, and they can't correlate the data to that. Yamaha have 2 bikes. You know what I mean? You're going to go plan A, you're going to go plan B. One of them might work. You know what I mean? We don't know. We don't have enough time. Like, and I suppose that's where I think people are right that Ducati do have a advantage by being able to analyze 8 bikes data.
Yeah.
Now a lot of the stuff can't fully be transferred over, but what you would get is that if I would take, for example, Bagnaia and Bezzecchi have a very similar riding style. Do you know what I mean? So you
Okay.
could technically send Bagnaia out to do 12 laps on hard front, medium rear. And you could send Bezzecchi out and do 12 laps on a soft front, hard rear, just say, for instance. And you could compare it, and like you would be able to use that data because they have a similar riding style and whatever. This is what an educated guess is what I would call it, not a 100% accurate. Do you know what I mean? It's an educated guess. And yeah, I just think, in these race weekends, especially kind of like a race weekend like this, where the tires are going to be critical, it's definitely an advantage to Ducati, and it's definitely a disadvantage to Yamaha. The other bikes, I don't really feel sorry for them because they have 4 bikes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that one was offered to them, and by the way, paid to get them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they would have got the subsidized. Yeah, but I do think it's pretty. I think it's pretty interesting. If I'm honest, what is the relevant data that they could get off it? The other thing, what was it?
But it bothers me when Yamaha complains that the Ducati has more bikes and they were offered it. You know what I mean?
But they all,
you didn't have yourself. You know what I mean?
But it's, to be fair though, it's not just Yamaha. Like Rivola is one of the biggest pains in the arse about it's an unfair advantage.
Rivola too. Yes, you're right.
Like he's beaten that drum for a while. KTM are like, just give us those 2 free spots.
Yeah,
we put on 2 right? And look, I don't think it can hurt by having another 2 bikes on the grid. But Yamaha, they're already resigned to the fact that 2025 is their year where they're going to try and convince, next year is the year that they're going to try and convince a team to go with them for 2025. And I think that is whoever can convince someone of the current satellite teams, which I believe there's only one now. I think, it's only one now, maybe. Because I think Grassini is to 26, isn't it? 2 or 3 years. So that'd be them out for 25. So it's only VR46 or maybe RNF. Or maybe Hervé Poncharal, which I don't think.
I thought it was just VR46. Because
they're the front runner for it. But
right.
I think RNF, Aprilia contract is out as well.
Yep. Yeah, manufacturer right, yes.
Now Aprilia will want to keep 4 bikes, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Will they get someone just to overtake or buy out RNF, because I know they're struggling for money. So it will be interesting to see. There were a couple of good battles down the grid. I think Mir didn't do a bad job today. He stayed on yesterday and he stayed on today, right?
That's good. It is good to stay on the bike. I heard about that.
It's like, no plasters needed.
No
trip to the doctor.
Right.
Dainese and AGV will be fucking delighted with themselves because no leathers to repair our helmets.
Right, exactly.
So it was really cheap weekend, cheap date. And it's like the whole Honda. I think Mark did pretty well, to be fair. Like he came into the weekend like, I'm a top 10 or 15th or between 15th and 10th place. That's where I reckon I'm going to be and whatever. And he went out and to be fair, he smoked a good few of them. Like,
Yeah, he made it 10th too. I don't think he's not pushing his 9. He's not pushing his like he should. I don't think he's pushing like he's can by any stretch of the imagination.
No. I won't say
smart,
that. I don't think he's riding around with his arm out the window chilling. Do you know what I mean? But I think he's not at the Marc Marquez. Let's drive it over the limit and see how far I can push this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which you can't blame him.
No. Every time he's tried, he's been doing the valley pick up the bike.
But this time 4 weeks time, right? He will be handing back his Honda leathers, getting a set of Marc Marquez standard normal plain leathers, and being fucking off over to the Ducati. That's how fast this is going to happen.
Yeah.
The Valencia test is the day after the Sunday race. Marc Marquez will be on the Ducati. And this is another thing that was automatically reported when he did his exit clause, and someone put into the fucking, I was reading it, Marc Marquez tests the Ducati at Valencia. We're like, we know, dickhead.
Yes.
We fucking know. You don't have to write a full article explaining the whole Marc Marquez saga and then go, oh yeah, and Honda have left him.
And it bothers me is the lies that are jammed in between. The absolute bullshit lies.
It was already agreed when Marc did the thing that he could ride the bike, and I don't know why it's coming out like 4 weeks later or whatever it was. So
there's one guy who's going out and he's the Honda fanboy, and he must do this like damn near every day. Puts out a new. I don't know how hard is it to set these things up. He must be busting his ass. Every time you see it, it's the same one. It's an Asian guy. These Asian guys are mad because they're saying they're because it's coming out Honda has bad engineering and they don't want to hear it, right? So they pout and they stomp their feet. So they come out like there's somebody else and they're saying, "Oh no, they're strong." Blah 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 blah.
Well, I don't think it's just one set of people. I think there's multiple people pretty upset that Marc Marquez is leaving Honda.
But they're not liking they don't like the truth coming out that Honda has weak engineering, and they're pouting about it and they're writing about it and they're lying about it.
Yeah, but I always believe these karma things sort themselves out, right? And Marc Marquez will come out. If Marc, even if he doesn't win next year,
right?
If he gets 5 or 6 podiums, that's proof.
Oh yeah,
Joe, that's all he needs to do, and that's his only pressure. And look, there was another person there out and saying, "Oh, Marquez," and I know there was an interview with Alex where Alex said, "Oh, if Marc is not getting on well or whatever, that he'll retire." Marc did say that, and Alex was repeating Marc's words. But the context that Marc was saying it in was like, if I'm not enjoying my racing, I'm not going to continue.
Right.
That's not saying, so if this doesn't work, I'm going to quit. You know what I mean? He's saying, it's been a tough few years. The decision to move from Honda is more that, it's about myself. I'm not enjoying my riding where I was at Honda. If I go here and it's the same, and maybe it's time. It is time to call it a day.
Right.
That's the context of it. So it's not like if this doesn't work, because that's not
right.
It's not what it's all about. However, I still believe, and I like.
But you don't even have to have proof, more proof that the Honda's the pig. I mean, they didn't get this way by bad luck. Okay.
Yeah,
they got this because the bikes suck. Because their engineers. That's it.
But it's the same of going up to a fella and calling his girlfriend ugly, right? So some people, even though it could be very true, he just might not want to hear it. You know what I mean? My girlfriend's beautiful. You know what I mean? Okay. That's it. And I can admire it in one way, that someone could be so blind to the obvious facts.
Right.
But and that's why I don't get excited about them anymore, or that they don't piss me off. That they're like, Honda is the greatest thing ever, and it's going to win next year, and we don't need Marc Marquez and all of this stuff. And 5 months ago, they were saying Marc Marquez is the greatest thing they ever had in Honda, right? It's
right.
It's immaterial. At the end of the day, results in the track speak for themselves. Marc has opened up and said, "Look, I'm not enjoying my racing at Honda. Going here, I'm going to try this." Yes, retirement was one of the things that I thought about. I want to try this. If it doesn't work, or if I'm not I'm not enjoying my riding, maybe it is time to call it quits. And I think Marc it's the first sign of Marc getting to that realization that he's at the later end of his career now.
Yeah.
Something Rossi ignored for years, right? I wish Rossi went 2015, 2016. I wish he went then, right? But I still believe that Marc has that fucking burning desire
yes,
to beat Rossi, right? And
and he still wants to be on top. He wants to be top dog. He wants to show these kids.
No, look,
and he's 30 years old, folks. He's not ancient. Yeah, he's been beat up.
He's battered, though. He's fucking battered. To be fair,
he's battered. But when you're 30, you bounce back. Okay, like I got my knuckles are pushed all back. But I've had it for years, and it never bothered me. I hate to do it today,
But no, what my point is right. If he goes and he does equal or beat Rossi's thing, right? It's the unspoken word in the room that is it's fucking killer. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if Rossi and Marquez are at the same event, do you know what I mean? And you have more, you don't even have to fucking say it. It's like, I suppose if you were a boxer and you went into a thing, or you went to see a fight and there was another fella that you knocked out a couple of months ago. Right. You know what I mean? Even though that he doesn't give a shit that you knocked him out, it's unsaid, it's unwritten.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes, it is. And that's what I think that he is chasing. It's not the actual record books. It's far more personal than that. Do you know what I mean? It's just like,
and it's in himself. I've seen him, Marquez, when it's pouring down rain. It's you're wondering if they're going to throw the red flag or cancel it, and he has 3/4 of a second on everybody else, and he's gone. You know what? I can do a quarter second better than that, and goes out and turns on the track again. And there isn't a fiddler's chance in hell that anybody's even going to challenge that. What he has already up there already. He still takes that risk and goes out again to better his own time, because in his head, I can't let that go. That quarter second, I can do it. I can do it.
I made a mistake. I need to fix it. Yeah. But that's exactly what I'm talking about with Bagnaia. Do you know what I mean? There's certain times in the race that you need to have that aggression. And going into the last 4 races, yes, you need to be careful. Yes, you need to stay on the bike. Yes, you need to be super fucking aggressive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think today's now. Bezzecchi,
I'm hoping he isn't counting on. I'm hoping he isn't counting on Martin making a mistake. Take it in your own hands, because when you don't take it in your own hands. By the way, remember Schwantz? If he went to back off, he always crashed.
Just that famous rule in fighting. If you leave it to the judges, you're taking a risk. Do you know what I mean? And ask Francis Ngannou from last night's fight with Tyson Fury. Anyway, for me, look, I'm just not seeing. I didn't see the aggression from Pecco today, and I was a little bit worried. Bezzecchi, I think, is almost done. I think he's his championship, while he's mathematically
right,
mathematically still possible. It's highly unlikely. Do you know what I mean? So I think he's sort of. It will be interesting to see what happens. I think isn't it 37 points per thing, so, and I think he's 70 odd or 80 odd now behind. So
And I hope that Ducati tells Enea Bastianini not to run over, not to run into Pecco. I could see him doing that.
Would you think so?
Yeah. Young and dumb. I want to make at least one good race for the year. Start battling with him and run into him.
I think it's a case of don't hunt what you can't kill. Now, Bezzecchi is 79 points behind, right? There's 37 for each. Like, it's still mathematically possible, but not really. You know what I mean? Binder is gone from the title hunt now.
Yeah. So I said Enea Bastianini. I
know, he won't. No. He's a company man now. Do you know what I mean?
Because he pulled that stupid shit before. Remember that?
Yeah, I was actually watching that the other night again. There can only be one.
Yeah.
And I found it funny that Jarvis and them were saying that Bastianini in Malaysia and Zano and that were acting as Pecco bodyguard. I was like, I never saw a bodyguard try to fucking beat the shit out of you. Like,
you're right.
Your own bodyguard, especially.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Folks, I mean, he's Dyson with his tires are 1 inch away from each other at 180 miles an hour, and I thought he was going to take his front end out the one time. God, and that's not riding safe, you know.
Yeah. No. Look, it's
and that's not. It's saying not to take somebody out is not team orders. And when and that's that year, by the way, Fabio, they were telling Fabio guys on the pit boards, let Fabio pass. Now, I don't even think that's team orders when it was only Fabio and Pecco could win the title, right? But of course, if he was riding with Ducati, then there would be, conspiracy theory.
Yeah, well, look, you see, again, look, I think there's no team orders currently in Ducati, right? Except for the ones that are not involved in the championship fight, and their only team order is do not fucking crash into them.
Yes.
Leave them fight it out. If it was Yamaha instead of, just say it was Martin and Fabio, do you know what I mean? The boys would be told, get in front of that Yamaha at all costs. Do you know what I mean? Don't try to take them out, but get in front of them. That's the only team orders that they'd have.
Yeah.
So look, I think the whole team order thing is pretty interesting. I don't think it happens. I think Pecco answered it nicely last year, if you remember, where he had a sandwich and he's like, the only team order I gave us for a sandwich or whatever. But yeah, look, I thought, to be fair, I think Australia and Thailand were absolutely fucking epic races. It was edge of the seat stuff this morning for that last few laps with the three of them.
Who do we have left?
Who
do we have left?
What races?
Yeah. I'm missing
We have Malaysia. In 2 weeks' time. We then have Qatar.
That's the one I was missing out. Qatar.
And then we have Valencia in Spain, España. And that's it.
So Malaysia
2023 is done.
Valencia is shouldn't be there because it's just a one-lane track. We got Qatar, which is an oddball track, right? And I don't know if is it bumpy yet. Did somebody say it was getting bumpy as shit?
Well, the F1 was there, so it's probably destroyed now, yeah.
And then I don't know a damn thing about Malaysia.
Sepang.
Malaysia, yeah.
Sepang, yeah. Pecco said he's strong there. Martin will be strong there. It's the more I watch Martin, the more I feel he has kind of a Casey Stoner attitude. Do you know what I mean? It's just like,
oh, don't get me started on Casey Stoner lately.
Lap one, and it's just full gas, and he's just on it, which it's very hard to fight against. Very hard to fight against, And again, Martin is starting to feel the pressure, right? But he doesn't have the pressure that Pecco has.
That's gonna say, yeah. I think Pecco is the one with all the pressure.
Yeah, Pecco. Yeah, in my view, Pecco is dealing with the pressure. Because at the end of the day, Martin is not supposed to win, right?
Right.
Everyone all year was talking, this is Pecco's champion, Pecco's.
Yeah.
And he's just chasing him down now and thing. But I still think there is that I think it's going to be somewhere. I think in Qatar, I think something is going to happen, and it's either going to be good or bad for one of them. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
That's where kind of, because each race has been very dramatic. The last out of the last three races, it has been quite dramatic. Like Martin crashing out in Mandalika, wrong tire choice. Superb race today. Do you know what I mean? But he didn't destroy Pecco today. Do you know what I mean? He was destroying him, and then made mistakes. Do you know what I mean? With tires. Do you know what I mean? Which were enabling him to destroy people. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like he went on the soft front where others were on the hard. Of course, he's going to pull again. He went on a medium rear or soft rear in Australia. Of course, he was on softer rubber. Exactly. He had more grip in the opening. He could pull that when people, like the hard tire could take 3 laps to warm up. In those 3 laps, you could technically pull.
Yeah.
Like
remember,
what he was
we were saying yesterday where we think I thought that Martin could pull off using a medium tire instead of the soft. Still pull a distance.
Yeah, but he didn't. He wasn't able to.
Yeah,
because they wouldn't last. But like in the sprint race, he probably still could have used the medium tire. Yeah, 100%. But I think overall, I think Thailand, you were an absolute beauty. So
yeah.
Until next week, I think we'll wrap it up there, Jiki Poo.
Yeah,
I still can't believe you nailed the opening, Jake. That's kind of, you've set me happy to the holidays.
Hey, it's true. You can't get a better one than that. We have good. We have very good members here. We don't have very goofy. We weeded out the goofy ass fanboys.
But Jake, now your excitement is all done. Do you know what I mean? I kind of missed the text from you saying, "Did you see what this fucking asshole?"
What a moron!
What a fucking
We've had people. You try to help them out. Remember the inline 4 debates, right?
Yeah.
And we send them to places that for engineering advice or knowledge, and they would physically lie and spin it the other way around because they had an inline 4. And there was like, no, that's not what the guy said, you lying sack of crap. And
on that bombshell, we will end up today's show. And we'll be back again next week with more fun and games. Fun and frolics.
Take it easy, folks.
Have a good one.